So, Honorable Lia Quartapelle, thank you for the honor of joining us today at the International Symposium on Culture, Diplomacy, and Religion.
Thank you.
We would like to ask you a few questions in order to hear your opinions on some salient issues. So, first of all, how would you define cultural diplomacy, and how has it influenced your work?
It's certainly a powerful tool to get people to speak about their backgrounds and their beliefs in order for them to find solutions to concrete problems. I've been raised in an environment where cultural diplomacy was important. If I think about my school experience, and this has had an impact on the way I handle issues in my work.
Thank you. Since we're talking about religion at this symposium, you know how religion is often being instrumentalized by leaders for economic, political, or other gains. What are the necessary steps, in your opinion, to prevent leaders from doing it?
Well, religion has been certainly a tool to mark identity and so for leaders to make their message stronger. But at the same time, sometimes it has been a powerful force behind decisions that concern the good of the collective idea of society. And so it really depends on people and on leaders, and it's difficult to influence them not to instrumentalize religion. There are no set of recipes, I think, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is no real formula for encouraging other people not to instrumentalize religion. But you were talking earlier about how the world generally is in agreement that the model of exporting democracy with like hard power, force, is not a very good idea. It's not very effective. Some audience members definitely supported that angle. And I think all of us at the Institute are sort of looking at better ways to sort of influence the world, or at the very least sort of address inequalities and issues of human rights. So when you were talking about how exporting democracy doesn't work, say there's a regime somewhere that is, because this is a religious conference, maybe instrumentalizing religion and violating human rights of a religious minority. How do you see a way that cultural diplomacy, as we call it, can be used to try to address that, since exporting democracy by force is not the way to go?
Well, cultural diplomacy is a powerful tool to speak with regimes when you cannot manage to speak about the real questions. So, for example, Italy has used cultural diplomacy a lot in the relationship with Iran in order to try to start speaking about things. At the same time, when there are strong violation of human rights and the right of minorities, being religious or ethnic minorities or any kind of minority, I think no dialogue is possible, and sometimes you should go on with sanctions rather than with dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Are you allowed to talk about maybe any ways that cultural diplomacy between Iran and Italy looked, or has appeared?
We have a big heritage, cultural heritage. So we tend to use the experience and expertise we have in managing cultural heritages in order to help other countries do the same with their own heritage. So we've done this in Iran, we've done this in Iraq after 2003, we are doing this in Egypt. For us, it's a diplomatic tool as well as a way of projecting what is called the Italian soft power in the world.
Yeah, you mentioned your education background. I was interested because you studied economics and sustainable development. I was very curious how you ended up in politics so quickly, but you were just talking about cultural heritage. What sort of ways do you think Italy fits into the sustainable development of the world? And one idea at the Institute also is that sustainable development can really be used to ease conflicts. And I'm wondering how much you might agree with that opinion, that sustainable development alone can often solve a lot of problems?
Well, there are many questions in this question. First of all, I think there is a big link between wanting to contribute to international development and being involved in politics. Of course, when you are on the ground, you think you feel that you are doing a lot, but you could do a lot more if you were at a higher level, at a political level. So that's one answer. Mm-hmm. The second answer is that Italy is one of the reasons why I entered politics is because Italy is not doing enough in international development. I mean, we are one of the worst donors in the world. We use very old tools to do international cooperation, and really there is a need to reform that, and we are doing this in the parliament. And the third question, which is what's the contribution of sustainable development to the general good and peace and in the world? Well, of course, we know that many conflicts have been started because of issues of natural resources and shared management of those resources, and the idea of agreeing on how you work on water, especially land and so on, could help the attainment of peace in certain areas of the world. I think about Middle East, I think about Horn of Africa, the Nile, and other regions as well.
I guess I did ask a lot of questions at once.
Well,
sorry to come at you.
It's fine.
Well, the last one should be easy. When it comes to educating the children, I like to say bambini. I love this word. What are your thoughts on interfaith dialogue and religion in schools in Italy, which has a much older tradition of church involvement, I think, than I'm used to?
Per I bambini italiani, in general, we have Catholic religious education. We don't have interfaith education. But I do believe, especially since we have 7 to 8 to 10% of immigrant population, that we need an immigrant population out of the total population. In schools, in general, it's 20 to 25%. So we do have, compared to my own, when I was in school or when other people were in school, we do have a big population of people with different religious backgrounds in schools. I do think we need to change also the way we do religious education in Italy, because the bambini have changed in Italy. Their composition and the composition of the Italian society is changing a lot.
Does that get a lot of attention as an issue in Italy right now?
It is not. We are discussing a lot about citizenship issues. I mean, until you are 18, if you're not born from an Italian, you don't have Italian citizenship. So first, we are very backwards in this respect to other European countries and in general to Western liberal democracies. So we have to first tackle that, and then we will speak about religion in school. But first we have to grant to the children the right of citizenship, to the children and their families, if they want to stay in Italy, I think.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yes.
So we don't want to keep you from getting things done in Parliament. So thank you for joining us. It's a great honor to have you.
Thank you.